Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive straight into something that is literally on every tech leader's mind right now: how are businesses actually scaling AI without completely blowing their entire budget? Okay, let's just get right into it, because right now, there's this massive conversation happening in the tech world about artificial intelligence, but it's kind of split into two entirely different realities. On one side, you have the hype, and on the other, you have the practical execution. Today, we're zeroing in on the execution.
So we constantly see massive consumer excitement around these giant frontier models, right? But let's ask the real question that's on enterprise minds right now. Does bigger always mean better in AI? I mean, it is so incredibly tempting to just grab the absolute most powerful, massive model available and throw it at every single problem you have. But as we'll see today, based on insights straight from industry leaders, that is absolutely not the smartest or the most efficient way to build.
There is a huge dynamic shift, a real divide, between the consumer hype over the newest, biggest models and the pragmatic, cost-conscious reality of the enterprise space. Consumers and prosumers, they are super excited about pushing the absolute frontier. They're asking models to do incredibly complex tasks on the very first try with zero examples. Think like asking AI to write a whole symphony. But in the enterprise space, well, it's highly practical. It's highly pragmatic. They don't necessarily need the AI to write a symphony, you know? They needed to process a massive volume of information without breaking a sweat or breaking the bank.
All right, let's move right into Section 1, Real-World AI at Scale.
Let's look at how major companies are actually deploying AI to solve real-world bottlenecks right now. Take major insurance or financial services companies, for example. They are processing thousands upon thousands of documents. The individual tasks within that workflow aren't always mind-bendingly complicated, but doing them at that massive, non-stop scale, that is the real challenge. Then you look at a platform like Box. For them, it's crucial to have models that can not only power agents effectively, but do so highly efficiently at the sheer scale that businesses demand. And over at Databricks, they're seeing that enterprises need to make countless daily decisions grounded in hard data. Previously, you needed deep, specialized expertise just to figure out what data to even look at. But now, AI needs to handle that reliably every single day.
And that brings us to the financial reality of all this massive scale. As the experts are pointing out, if you use a massive, super expensive frontier model for every simple little task and you ignore cost optimization while trying to deliver that high accuracy, well, you're basically leaving a lot of money on the table. Actually, scratch that, you're essentially just burning cash. That is wasted capital that you could and absolutely should be utilizing for further exploration and building out entirely new features. You never want to overspend where you just don't have to.
Which brilliantly illustrates a brand new concept, bringing us to Section 2, the minimum viable model.
Developers and IT leaders are rapidly adopting this idea of the minimum viable model, or MVM for short. Forget trying to be the cool kid on the block just because you have access to the absolute top-tier, most expensive model. The name of the game today is finding your MVM. This means pinpointing the absolute most efficient model for the job, the one that can get the task done reliably, but for the absolute lowest possible cost and the fastest latency. It's all about striking that perfect balance between capability and efficiency.
This is exactly where highly efficient models, like Gemini 3.7 Flash, step onto the scene. When you have a model that offers significantly reduced token costs compared to its predecessors, combined with way better latency, it literally changes the math. It allows developers to use AI in way more places across their entire stack. You aren't constantly agonizing over the cost of tokens for every minor task, which means the technology becomes far more pervasive and, honestly, way more practically useful. Just think about the sheer scale of that impact, 10x. As one developer noted, if a highly efficient model can perform a specific task 10 times cheaper, wow, it completely frees up your budget. It means you now have the resources to build things you previously couldn't even afford to run. You no longer have to sit there and worry, should I spend my tokens on this? You just build. It's a total game changer that unlocks a whole new level of developer freedom.
Okay, moving on to Section 3, multi-agent system architectures.
So how do developers actually piece these highly efficient models together in production alongside those massive frontier models? The reality here is that enterprises are officially moving completely away from single-agent setups. We're no longer just sending a prompt to one giant brain and crossing our fingers waiting for a single answer. Instead, developers are building really complex multi-agent systems where different tiers of models handle different tasks within the exact same workflow. It's a highly dynamic, layered approach.
Let's look under the hood at the anatomy of how a prompt is actually processed in these advanced setups. It typically follows a pattern right out of a playbook. Step 1, a main agent handles intent classification. It just figures out exactly what the user is asking. Step 2, complex planning. It figures out what data to look into. And Step 3, dispatching sub-agents. It recursively sends out these smaller agents to do parallel exploration and actually gather that data. So you see, this isn't just one model doing everything. It's a highly coordinated team of models.
And this is exactly why different models are absolutely crucial for different steps. Notice the required speed for these phases. That very first step, intent classification, must happen incredibly fast, like blink of an eye fast. You simply cannot afford to spend a massive amount of time in compute just trying to understand the user's query before you've even made a plan. So you need a model with incredibly low latency for that step, whereas the planning phase, that might require deeper, albeit slightly slower, reasoning.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is adopting what we can call the puzzle pieces approach. You use an incredibly fast, efficient tier model, like a Gemini Flash, to handle that initial split-second intent classification. Then, it seamlessly hands off the complex reasoning to a heavier frontier model for the actual planning step. Finally, that frontier model dispatches more fast, efficient sub-agents to run parallel exploration. By mixing and matching your model tiers, you get these puzzle pieces working perfectly in concert. You are optimizing for speed, intelligence, and cost all at the exact same time. Look, the tech is going to keep pushing boundaries, for sure. The intelligence frontier is going to continue to expand at a crazy pace. But the ultimate question you should take away from this explainer today is this. As these capabilities grow, are you just blindly grabbing the biggest tool available off the shelf, or are you actively optimizing your puzzle pieces? Are you finding your minimum viable model to get the absolute most out of your budget and your architecture? Definitely something to think on as you design your next system. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep building smart, and I'll catch you next time.